All right, today we're going to be talking about cheat meals, which is something that you hear a lot, and I think a lot of times people maybe aren't even sure kind of what exactly that means. When I hear cheat meal, I think that, okay, you are following a very strict protocol, maybe a specific meal plan. You're probably doing some sort of fad diet, basically something with a title, with a name, and then you have a meal that is, you know, triple the calories that it normally is. Maybe it's your whole day's worth of calories, not very nutritionally dense. You feel terrible afterwards, yada yada. So cheat meals, what happens when you just kind of go off of your, regular scheduled programming, when you don't hit your macros, when you have something that just kind of threw you over for the day? What do we do? How do we bounce back? One, take cheat meals out of your vocabulary. Just don't even say it. It's not a thing. Just completely not a thing. My teeth look blue, I feel like, from the reflection of this. This is funny. Yeah, it's not helpful. Just stop calling anything or everything a binge. I binged or I cheated or I overate or whatever. Words have power. Words hold meaning, and your brain will start associating like a negative feedback loop, right? And we're wired to kind of gravitate towards things that are bad or that we're not supposed to do, right? It kind of creates this like boogeyman sort of thing. So the less power we can give it through our words is really going to be so helpful. So I would stop using cheat meals. I would stop using binge, especially if it's just kind of like, okay, you had a pint of ice cream. So did I, so do a lot of people. It is okay. I promise you're not a bad person because of that. And you're not a special, super successful person because you didn't. Number two, just stop worrying about it so much. It's really not that serious. Last night we were evacuating, we were driving, I stopped and I got Burger King and I had an Impossible Whopper and I had some French fries. Didn't feel the best afterwards, but it's not that serious. You just chill the fuck out. It's whatever, right? That's a huge difference between kind of like a beginner and somebody who is truly more, when I say advanced, it just means that it's truly your lifestyle now, right? So a beginner meaning like you've just adopted these new changes. It's not necessarily who you are or your identity yet, versus somebody who's been doing this for a while. They know they're going to be able to sustain the results. Their whole lifestyle is going to lead them to feeling good, looking good. The biggest thing is that like identification, right? Like, oh my God, this, I really fucked it up. I really made a mistake here. This is so bad. Athletes don't have that. People who live a long-term healthy lifestyle, they don't have that. So recognize, do I still have those patterns? And can I let go of those in order to kind of get out of that beginner mindset? Straight up, you're going to die one day. And letting ice cream dictate your emotional state is really, 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 really ridiculous. And maybe a catastrophic storm is sometimes what we need in order to realize what's important. And I promise, having French fries at Burger King or stopping at Wawa and having a Snickers bar or whatever, and if that truly like impacts how you feel about yourself and your worth, then what do we have to work on? It's not your nutrition, it's your sense of self, it's your sense of worth, it's your identity. That's really where the issue is coming from. It's not that you need to stop binging or eating or cut out sweets, okay? And scientifically speaking, literally an extra 1,000 calories. So, like, yesterday at Burger King, if I got a Whopper, fries, sauce, and a milkshake, that easily would be, an additional 1,000 calories on top of, what I normally would have, like 2,000 calories. And that's not going to ruin all your progress. Like, literally, scientifically speaking, that is not going to happen. Just like if you eat one healthy meal, you're not going to you're not going to have some huge progress or huge results. Same thing. If you have one unhealthy meal, I don't like to use those words, but just for the sake of this conversation, that's also not going to ruin all your progress. And that's another thing. I hear a lot of beginners and newbies say things like that, like, oh, I'm scared I'm going to ruin my progress this week. I'm going out of town this week. I'm the hurricane. I'm sick this week. I'm afraid I'm going to lose all my progress. That literally is not a thing. If you are committed to living a long-term healthy lifestyle and you want to look and feel good forever, unless you are doing a fad diet, which that means that the results are not going to be sustainable, ruining your progress, losing progress is literally not a thing. And it does not happen in a short time, believe me. Your emotional attachment to food, whether that's guilt, shame, or joy, right? Of all of your celebrations, if when you're happy, you say, I deserve this, or when you're sad, you say, I deserve this. Those emotional ties is what's keeping you a slave. to food, to, your negative thought patterns, to you feeling like, oh my gosh, how do I, stop craving Dunkin' Donuts or whatever? It's because of that emotional attachment. And then number three, what do you do after a binge or after you overate? You literally just go back to what you have normally been doing. So if you had a burger and french fries for lunch, what do you do for dinner then? You eat your regular ass dinner that you were planning on having, that you normally have. You don't have any less of that, or skip dinner, or try to do a salad instead. Because then what happens? Then it's midnight and you're looking through the pantry. Okay, and then you have this cycle that keeps going. You had a pint of ice cream last night. Okay, you had some girlies over, you got a little high, you had a whole pint of ice cream. You normally never do that. You wake up the next morning, what do? You eat your regular breakfast at the regular time, and you do your regular workout. You don't do more cardio, you don't skip breakfast, you don't push it back. Holding on to the energy of shame and guilt and disgust for yourself, that is doing so much worse for your body, so much more harm than the cookies. Literally, if you ate an entire bag of chips or whatever it is, and you hate yourself for the next few days, and you're over exercising and you just feel so shameful and guilty, that is doing so much more harm than the chips. So, make it easier for yourself, be solution oriented, be proactive. And that's what you do. And this is how those moments of guilt and shame and binges and cheat days and cheat meals, they stop. They're not a thing. I can't think off the top of my head because they don't hold so much weight. So that is it. Kind of a short call. Any comments, questions, concerns, anything that resonated, anything that you can relate to? No. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. You guys who are not in Florida, enjoy hopefully the sunshine weather, whatever you got going on. I'm sure it's cold where you are, Miss Kelsey, but yeah, everyone else be safe. Thanks for joining, and I will see you next week. Bye.